I really, really dedicated 5 years of my life to making sure that she was happy, making sure that she accomplished what she wanted, and she did accomplish it all. And what did she do once she accomplished it? And I'm not going to go into the negative details. A really long time. And it's really, really, like, it really hurts me that a person that I spent so much of my life trying to build up and just fill that need, that deep, solid need that she had to be this international famous artist, that, you know, it just hurts me that she would turn around, see an opportunity, because the opportunity was there, to try to destroy my life and personal income of herself.
Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome back again. So guys, yesterday Justen Dean Korra, Obidi's ex-husband, he was on live, and according to him, he needed to talk about some things, especially to correct the narrative that has been going on social media. Okay, according to him, he said he's doing it to set his integrity straight, unlike the narrative going on social media. Everyone that follows Korra, Obidi, and Justen, you guys will know what has happened till this very moment. I'll just summarize what I feel he said. Then I'll leave you guys to listen to some parts of what he has to say. He started his story. He started by telling us how he and Korra, his ex-wife, met in China, the journey so far, how they returned to America. He was the one that asked Korra to quit her job, and so that they will focus on content creating. Okay, he invested time, energy, everything, finance, to make sure Korra achieved her dream. According to him, he wasted 5 years of his life and everything just to make sure that Korra achieved her dream. Also, guys, that's one part. He also talked about that Korra is always on social media trying to bash him, bring him down, and saying some things that are not true about him. If I can remember vividly well, for some time, for some months now, Korra doesn't talk about him. Korra doesn't bring up things about him, except what he's saying is the initial stage of their separation, when she normally come out to cry, that he's always filing for custody of the kids. But for some months now, Korra doesn't talk about him, so I don't know where he's what he's saying. Maybe it's the past, but recently I've not seen anything like that. So that apart, he's coming to say that straight. And he also showed off how much. He also talked about Korra's money. I think that one is always getting to him. He showed how much Korra earns in a month via Facebook. Guys, it's really huge. Yeah, so big money. He's always talking about Korra and her money. Okay, that Korra always come online to deceive people and the rest. So for me, the whole thing is he's still penned, but if I can remember vividly, he was the one that didn't want the marriage anymore. It's not like Korra walked out on him. He was the one that told Korra to leave his house 9 days after delivery. He was the one that wanted this divorce, but he didn't file. It was not Korra that filed for the divorce. So he was also the one that came to social media to let us know what's happening. So guys, anyway, he has said his own. Korra has also said her own. She monetized her own through her book. Okay, this is just in telling his own side of the story. Anyway, guys, let me just leave people to listen to him. And after that, I would love to know what you think, okay, of what Justen came out to do. So guys, listen.
I'm going to start telling my side of the story. I'm not going to bash anyone. I am not going to do anything like that. I said I was sick yesterday. I wasn't sick yesterday. I was in a bad mood. I was depressed because my reputation, my life is being destroyed by my ex-wife. And she's making a lot of money, somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million over the last year, crafting a story about how I'm a horrible human being. And my mental health is really suffering because I know it's not true, and I cannot defend myself without it being used against me. But at this point, it's gone too far. It's been nearly 2 years of me, a year and a half of me just minding my own business, just trying to do what's best for my daughters, protect my daughters. And now it's all across the internet that I'm this horrible human. So rather than try to bash the other individual, my ex-wife, Korra Biddy, I am going to simply say, I'm going to simply tell my story about how awesome of a husband I was. So this is not going to be any sort of drama fest. This is just me defending my character. And every single day, somebody's doing something to try to destroy my life based off of things that she said that just simply are not true. I've won everything she said. I've won in court fully. And it just continues for profiteering and to make money. That's all this is about. It's just, let's make some money. Let's capitalize on another person's misfortune who happens to be the father of her children, and let's make as much money as humanly possible. I, on the other hand, have actively not participated in this at all because this is what's best for my kids. But now it's to a point now where I can't look at myself in the mirror because I can't defend myself, and it's just it's frustrating. Many of you have been watching my page, and you can see the kind of person I am. You can see who I am as a man, who I was as a husband, those of you that have been following our story for the last 5 years, and who I am as a father. So rather than bash any individual, I am going to simply talk about myself. So, yeah. Those of you guys don't want to hear it, don't listen. This is me telling how much I love and sacrificed for another human, and refusing to participate in all the profiteering that's going on. So here it goes. Many of you guys know my backstory. I'm a small town Eastern Oregon kid, grew up 19 years old, barely literate, read at a 6th grade level. I only got in college because my college coach pulled a favor to get me in, and I was in on a kind of a special circumstances kind of situation. At 19, I decided I'm going to change my life, and I worked hard for until today, to better my life and make a better life for my children. And that is all being destroyed so that money can be made. And I'm not here to make money. I am here because it's really affected me that nothing I do, I follow all the rules. I do not participate in anything. I put the kids first, and at the extreme detriment of myself, and it doesn't seem to matter. So here it is, me telling what kind of husband I was. So like I was saying, at 19 I couldn't read. By the time I was 28 years old, I had taught 60 continuing education seminars. I had co-created I'm tired. I'm barely sleeping. I created a soft tissue technique for cutaneous nerves. I've invented 2 treatment techniques that have continuing education courses that I teach, called the neurocentric approach, which is actually an entire system that I co-created with my mentor that we teach. So I worked really hard to get to China. I worked really hard to work at the Olympic Training Center. I was there for about 3 months. You gotta understand, getting recruited for this job was very prestigious. There was over 300 applicants. They didn't find anybody that was actually qualified, so they called me because it was a very pivotal role in that particular company. So I established myself, my reputation in my industry as a innovator, as somebody that pushed the boundaries, that wasn't afraid to get criticized for coming up with new ideas, because at the end of the day, I am a patient-centered chiropractor, and if something works, even if it doesn't make sense with the conventional science that we have at the time, which now is present, that I was going to do whatever worked to help my patients feel better. So anyways, so I was in China for about 3 months, and that's when I met Korra. And I'm violating court orders talking about this, but it doesn't seem to matter. Hundreds and hundreds of court order violations later, it doesn't seem to matter. Probably because I'm a male. The system is against men. Absolutely. This is showing me this more than anything. So we met. First night we met, we went out to the club and we had a fantastic night. We both got very intoxicated, and she came back to my house. And being the gentleman that I was, I refused to sleep with her on the first night because I deemed her and myself too drunk. So we did not. And the next morning, that was the only day we spent apart in China, was the next day. From the following day on, we spent every single day, all day together, except for when I was at work or she was at work. I fell in love with her very quickly. Within probably 3 weeks, I knew that this was the person I was going to marry. And that's not something that, I took lightly at the time, or I still don't take lightly now. And I'm so frustrated I even have to talk about this, but at the end of the day, you got to defend your livelihood. So our relationship was perfect in China, to be honest with you. She treated me with respect. She treated me like I was a king, and I returned in kind. So why did she move to China? She moved to China because she released an EP that was an utter failure. And she moved to China because she wasn't making money as a singer, as a dancer. She had broken up with her boyfriend, and she needed to go and make some money. That was the goal, is to go to China for a few years, make some money, and come back and build a house or something like that. Well, I encouraged her adamantly to follow her dreams because I was the product of somebody that overcame insurmountable odds to accomplish my dreams. And at 28 years old, I had accomplished every dream that I had, every goal that I had put out at that point. So I was extremely happy with where I was, and I knew what it felt like to accomplish something very difficult, to accomplish a dream, and then actually see it occur. And I wanted that for her. I wanted that for my wife, soon-to-be wife at that time. So every single day, and I mean every day, we would go out and we would think of content ideas. And I would film for her. I would motivate her. I would push her to be her best. We would do maybe 50 takes of a dance scene on any given day sometimes. And we wouldn't do it until we wouldn't stop until both of us were very happy with the result. And after a few months of this, see what was working and see what wasn't, I decided that it was working. When she moved to China, she had 43,000 Instagram followers and barely any followers anywhere else. And after just a few months, we got her up to like 80,000 roughly. So we were seeing what was working or not. So in high school, I actually took video productions. I took 2 years of video productions. I made the highlight reel for my cross-country team. I really liked editing videos. So what I did is I bought a subscription to Adobe, and I would take the videos and I would actually speed up her body movements to make her look like a better dancer. Now, she's an extremely gifted, talented dancer anyways, but for social media, it's all about like getting your attention past the first 3 seconds. So I would speed up her hips so they would bounce more. I would speed up her arms so it looked a little bit more eye-catching, because sometimes on video it's not, what looks really good in real life doesn't look as good on camera. So you have to speed it up a little bit. You got to make the hip movements. You got to make it pop more. And that was exactly what I did. And one second, I'm gonna get some water. This is very difficult for me to talk about because I just simply want to move on with my life and raise my daughters in peace and tranquility. But like I said, she's made $2 million in the last year and a half off of trashing the father of her children, who they love and adore, I will say. So we'd speed up the videos, and I could see it was starting to gain traction. People like the story, country hick, Nigerian princess. That was really sticky as well. So after about, I would say, this was probably about June, I proposed to her on the bund. And I asked her to quit her job, where she was making around, I can't remember the exact number, it was like $2,500 or $3,000 a month, which she had to pay 20% of that to her brother-in-law to pay for the, for getting her the job, basically. That being said, she actually, on her paperwork, lied to the Chinese government and said that she was an American from Salt Lake City. But she was not. Anyways, I didn't care about that. So I proposed to her, and I asked her to quit her job because we needed to be able to spend more time on creating content. Because at this point, I was absolutely head over heels in love with her. And I'm a strategist, I'm a thinker, this is even difficult for you to talk about. So I come to the conclusion that I was making pretty good money then, about 10 grand a month, which was tax-free money. I didn't have to pay taxes on it. So I said, well, I can just pay all our bills. You should just quit your job and we'll just make content all day. And that's what she did. She quit her job. She still had to pay 20% of her income, or I don't remember the exact percentage, something like that, to her brother-in-law. So then I paid off her brother-in-law the rest of the balance due, because she still had like 8 more months of work or something like that. It was a pretty significant, it was like, I don't know, it was like $7,000 or $8,000 or something. So I paid him so that she didn't have any obligation to him, and she could just create content all day. And that's what we did. I was only working maybe 4 hours a day, because I only had a select group of athletes that I was working with. They wouldn't actually let an athlete work with me unless they were top 3 in the country, which I didn't really agree with, but it is what it is. So yeah, she quit her job, and we started making content every day, and at that point, they really started to blow up. They really did. She really was starting to get like really happy, and anytime, I remember giving her pep talks until 2 or 3 in the morning when I had to work at 8 about we can do this, just like this we can do this. We can really make this work. We can really make you into